Little Johnny is pulling his old beat-up red wagon down the sidewalk. A local preacher is walking along the same path, just a few feet behind him. As they are walking, one of the four wheels on the wagon falls off. Johnny stomps his feet and yells, "Damn!" The preacher sees this as a great opportunity for a learning lesson. He says, "Johnny, as we go through life, things happen to us. Sometimes things are good, and sometimes things are bad. But the good news is that the good Lord is with us at all times. And for that reason, we should say, praise the Lord when good or bad things happen. Do you understand?" "Yeah, I guess so," replies Johnny as he picks up the wheel and tosses it into his wagon. "I guess I should be glad I still have 3 wheels left." The two continue their journey. However, just a few minutes later, another wheel falls off the wagon. "Damn!" yells Johnny. "Johnny, I think the words you are looking for are praise the Lord, for he is with you and looks after you during your times of distress," replies the preacher. Johnny shrugs, picks up the wheel, and tosses it into the wagon. It's a little awkward pulling the wagon with only 2 wheels, but at least he can continue. Not more than a couple of minutes later, a 3rd wheel falls off. "Damn!" pouts Johnny. "I think what you mean to say is praise the Lord," says the preacher. "Things may seem tough, but the good Lord is watching after you. These trials and tribulations will come and go, but you will survive," says the preacher. "I know," replies Johnny. "I was just shocked again. I will try harder next time." Johnny bends down, picks up the wheel, and throws it into his wagon with the others. He can still pull the wagon with 1 wheel, but it is much harder to pull, so he must use 2 hands now. Just as Johnny is getting so tired that he can hardly continue, the last wheel falls off the wagon. Johnny stops and looks at his poor wagon, which is obviously beyond pulling now. He takes a deep breath and with much enthusiasm and sincerity says, "Praise the Lord." Suddenly, the wagon floats up in the air. Then one by one, the wheels reconnect themselves securely in place. The wagon then gently floats back to the ground, fully repaired. The preacher's jaw drops in awe and says, "Damn!" 2 billionaire friends meet up for a long overdue lunch. After a casual conversation, one of them finally asks, "So, how's your home life?" "Couldn't be better," says the second guy. "I bought an elephant." The first guy looks at him in astonishment. "An elephant? Have you gone mad?" he asks. The second guy, smiling, replies, "Oh man, let me tell you, it's the best purchase I have ever made." He grazes on the lawn, making it nice and even. The kids love him. They are always riding on his back and sliding down his trunk. It keeps them outside instead of in front of the television all day. My wife loves him too. He's super strong and helps her with moving things around when I'm not at home. Let me tell you, he's the best pet I've ever had. The other billionaire scratches his chin. "Yeah, that actually sounds pretty amazing. How much did you pay for him?" $1 million, worth every penny. He was a steal at that price, replies the other man. "Will you sell him to me for $2 million? The other billionaire asks. "Oh no, what are you asking? Sell him? He's like family. How about $3 million? "I don't know. You really can't put a price on this kind of friendship and usefulness." "All right, $5 million. $5 million. Well, okay, I'll sell him to you, but only because we're friends." A few weeks later, the 2 billionaires meet up again. The guy who bought the elephant is very angry. As soon as he sees the other guy, he starts yelling, "What the heck did you sell to me?" Not only does he not graze the lawn, but he completely destroyed all my greenery and trees. There's elephant dung everywhere. You can even smell it inside the house. And what was that about kids? They are terrified of the thing. It's aggressive, massive, and scary. I cannot sleep because he trumpets all the time. My wife has been having nightmares, and now I won't hear the end of her bickering until I die. It's awful. The worst purchase of my entire life." The other billionaire rolls his eyes at him and says, "Well, I don't know what to say, but with that attitude, you'll never be able to sell him. A priest, a doctor, and an engineer were waiting behind a particularly slow group of golfers one morning. The engineer, who was quite frustrated, said, "This is absurd. We've had to wait here for 15 minutes. The doctor agreed, "I don't know, but I've never seen such incompetence on the golf course." The priest said, "Hey, here comes the groundskeeper. Let's go talk to him. Hey, George, what's going on with that group ahead of us? They're pretty slow, aren't they?" The groundskeeper replied, "Oh yes, that's the group of blind firemen. They lost their sight last year when they put out a fire in the local chemical warehouse. We always let them play for free." The three became very quiet. Then the pastor said, "That's sad. I think I will pray for them tonight." The doctor adds, "Good idea. I'll check with my buddy, the eye doctor. Maybe he can do something." The engineer shrugs. "Why don't they just play at night?" A man walked into the produce section of his local supermarket and asked to buy half a head of cabbage. The boy working in that department told him that they only sold whole heads of cabbage. The man was insistent that the boy ask the manager about the matter. Walking into the back room, the boy said to the manager, "Some old fart outside wants to buy half a head of cabbage." As he finished his sentence, he turned around to find that the man had followed and was standing right behind him. "So," the boy quickly added, "and this gentleman kindly offered to buy the other half." The manager approved the deal, and the man went on his way. Later, the manager said to the boy, "I was impressed with the way you got yourself out of that situation earlier. We like people who can think on their feet here. Where are you from, son?" "Russia, sir," the boy replied. "Why did you leave Russia?" the manager asked. The boy said, "Sir, there's nothing but prostitutes and ice hockey players in Russia." "Is that right?" fumed the manager. "My wife's from Russia." "Really?" replied the boy. "What team did she play for?" Two hunters traveled to Wisconsin one winter to hunt deer. After tracking a big stag for miles, they finally get it in their sights and take it down. As they struggled dragging the dead animal across the snowy open fields back to their pickup, they were stopped by an officer. He asked to see their hunting licenses and stamps. Assured that all was in order, the officer wished them a good day, but offered some advice. "If you boys would pull from the front legs instead of the back legs, the animal will glide easier in the snow, instead of going against the grain of fur." The hunters thanked the officer and took his advice. After about an hour of pulling the deer, the first hunter says to the other, "That officer was a nice guy, and this deer is easier to pull." The second hunter replies, "Yeah, but he wasn't all that smart. We're getting further away from the truck." My friends, if you want to watch other funny jokes, subscribe to the channel.